Good morning. I hope you've got a nice warm cup of Joe. It's Saturday and it's like 2 degrees outside. They're calling for a mountain of snow. So we'll see what happens. I'm waiting for it to warm up because, I don't like the cold. I grew up in Southern California. Come on, man. But here we are. If you want to live in God's country where we're still free to, protect ourselves and whatnot, got to put up with the cold every once in a while. So as you're jumping on, say hi. I don't have my flag flying that you guys seem to hate so much because I'm not going to talk politics today. The reason, hey, do me a favor, share my videos. If you're watching on the UBTubies, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, share, comment, all that stuff. Because if you're watching on Facebook, go up and follow me and share my videos. They're not letting you get notifications. A lot of you get notifications. I'm even coming on. So do that. Also I'm going to try to make a habit of around 8:30 every day during the week I come on. So just expect me to be doing something at 8:30. Saturday, Sunday, maybe not, but during the week. But here I am today. So go over and follow me on Rumble also, if you would please. Because if they kick me off here, I'll do my videos and load them up there or whatever. I can't go live over there yet. I'm sure they'll figure out a way to do it eventually. But anyways, I'm not going to talk a lot of politics today. I'm not going to talk about the coup. I'm not going to talk about the faux president or any of that. But I wasn't even going to come live today. But I was scrolling through this morning, reading some of the comments on some of my lives. When I got time, I like to sit down and see what people are saying and thinking. So excuse me. As I'm scrolling through, I've seen a lot of comments lately with the theme of, why would God, they're struggling with why God would allow all this evil in this world. And it's actually a good question. It's something you struggle with. It's like, man, why would God allow this to happen? Why would God, people always tell me we as Christians have been fed a line of bull with this health and prosperity and all this gospel of naming and claiming all that stuff. They say, if you didn't have sin in your life, if you didn't, if you were living your life right, if you had enough faith. Well, let me ask you a question. World War II, right? June 6th, 1944, was it 44 or 45? I don't know. But you know the day, D-Day. The ramp drops down. And sitting there is Private Johnson. He's from little town Nowheresville, Kansas. He's a good Southern Baptist boy, 18 years old. He never been with a woman, never smoked a cigarette, never drank a drop of alcohol, never used a curse word, went to church on every Sunday and every Wednesday, sang in the choir, gave his life to Jesus when he was 8 years old, read his Bible, knew it front to cover, was actively trying to encourage his fellow brothers and sisters there not his sisters, just brothers at that time. They were in his group, in his platoon, in his company, whatever, to turn to the Lord. But as that ramp fell down, a German machine gun nest on top of the hill cut him in two, and he's dead. Never even leaving the boat. 18 years old. How can that be? How can it be? Why would God allow something like that to happen? Why couldn't a guy who joined the military because he was told to by the courts after being a terrible person? Well, they were cut down too by German machine guns, but sometimes it has nothing to do with you. Sometimes this is just a fallen world that we live in. You see, that young man crossed over to the other side and is standing in the glory of God. You think about it. So a lot of thoughts going through my head on how to explain what I'm trying to say. But one of the things I kept coming back to, and I'm gonna stall a little bit as you share this to your friends and family. Let's get some more people on here because I think some people need to hear this. But I have a story to tell you. One that I heard many years ago that I really thoroughly enjoy. And it really sums it up. Really sums up why God We see all this evil, all this stuff happening in the world, and we go, man, if God is real, if God is omnipotent and omnipresent, why? Why would he allow all of this to happen? And it's an excellent, excellent question. So as we're coming on here, I just want to read this to you. I'm not going to be on here very long today, so this is not going to be a rather long, drawn-out deal. What I want to read to you is author and preacher and stuff, Max Lucado. Many of you have probably heard of him. I'm just going to read this off my screen. But he wrote a book years and years ago, and he read in the book, he put a story, and I can't remember which book it was. Years ago. He has a way of painting a word picture that's unbelievable. So I'm just going to read you Max Lucado's The Choice. And this, I think, explains. Take a big swig of coffee. I hope you guys have a nice warm cup of coffee with you this morning. Max Lucado's The Choice. And this is my version of it. So, and I'll tell you right now, I'm not a preacher, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a prophet. I didn't go to school. I have no education as far as theology. Everything that I say has to do with the Bible is theology according to Mike. So if you don't agree with me, that's okay. Just check it out, because this is my story of my relationship with Christ. Your story may be different, and that's okay. So here we go. Max Lucado, The Choice. Let me share this thing because people are going to want to hear this. This is pretty good. He placed one scoop of clay upon another until a form lay lifeless on the ground. All the garden inhabitants paused to witness the events. The hawks hovered, the giraffe stretched, the trees bowed, the butterfly paused on petals and watched. You will love me, nature, God said. I made you that way. You will obey me, universe, for you were designed to do so. You will reflect my glory, skies, for that's how you were created. But this one will be like me. This one will be able to choose. All was silence as the Creator reached into himself and removed something yet unseen, a seed. It's called choice, the seed of choice. Creation stood in silence and gazed upon the lifeless form. An angel spoke, but what if he chooses not to love, the Creator finished? Come, I will show you. Unbound by today, God and the angel walked into the realm of tomorrow. There we see the fruit of the seed of choice, both the bitter and the sweet. The angel gasped at what he saw, the spontaneous love, the voluntary devotion, the chosen tenderness. Never had he seen anything like these. He felt the love of the Adams. He heard the joy of Eve with her daughters. He saw the food and marveled at the warmth. Heaven has never seen such beauty, my Lord. Truly, this is your greatest creation. Ah, said God, but you've only seen the sweet. Now you will taste the bitter. A stench enveloped the pair. The angel turned in horror and exclaimed, what is that? The Creator spoke only one word, selfishness. The angel stood speechless as they passed through centuries of repugnant. Never had he seen such filth, rotten heart, ruptured promises, forgotten loyalties, children of creation wandering blindly in lonely labyrinths. This is the result of choice, the angel asked. Yes, said the Lord. They will forget you? They will reject you? Yes. Will they never come back? Some will. Most won't. What will make them listen? The Creator walked further into time, further and further into the future, until he stood by a tree that was fashioned into a cradle, that would be fashioned into a cradle, even then, he could smell the hay that would surround him. With another step into the future, he paused before another tree. It stood alone, a stubborn ruler on a bald hill. The trunk was thick, the wood was strong. And the train interrupts me. That's what I get for having a shop right on the railroad tracks. Yes, we know you're here. Messing up a good story. Keep on going. Keep on. He's going real slow. Okay. The creator walked in time, further and further into the future, and he stood by a tree that would be fashioned into a cradle. Even then, he could smell the hay that would surround him. With another step into the future, he paused before another tree. It stood alone, the stubborn ruler of a bald hill. The trunk was thick, the wood was strong. Stony brow of another hill. And soon he would be mounted on it. He felt the wood rub against the back of that he did not yet wear. He would go down there, the angel asked. I will. Is there no other way? There isn't. Would it be easier not to plant the seed? Would it be easier not to give the choice? The creator said it would. It would. But to remove the choice is to remove the love. He looked around the hill and foresaw a scene. 3 figures hung on 3 crosses, arms spread, heads fallen. They moaned in the wind. Men clad in soldier garb sat around near the trio. They played games in the dirt and laughed. Men clad in religion stood off to the side. They smiled, arrogantly, cocky. They had protected God, they thought, by killing this false one. Women, cloud in sorrow, huddled at the foot of the hill. Speechless, tears streaked, eyes downward. One put her arm around another, tried to lead her away, but she wouldn't leave. I will stay, she said softly. I will stay. All of heaven stood to fight. All of nature rose to rescue. All eternity poised to protect, but the Creator gave no command. It must be done, he said, and withdrew. But as he stepped back into time, he heard a cry that would someday scream, my God, why have you forsaken me? He wrenched at tomorrow's agony. The angel spoke again. It would be less painful, the Creator interrupted softly, but it wouldn't be love. They stepped into the garden again. The Maker looked earnestly at the clay creation. A monsoon of love swelled up from within him. God bent over the sculptured face and breathed. Dust stirred on the lips of the new one. The chest rose. Cracking red mud, cheeks fastened. A finger moved. Eye opened. But more incredible than moving of the flesh was the stirring of the spirit. Those who could see the unseen gasped. Perhaps it was the wind who said it first. Perhaps it was the stars that saw that moment and made them blink ever since. Maybe it was left to an angel to whisper, it looks like. It appears so much like. It's him. The angel wasn't speaking of the face, the features, the body. He was looking inside the soul. It's eternal, gasped another. Within the man, God had placed a divine seed, a seed of himself. The God of might had created not a creature, but another creator. And the one who had chosen to love had created one who could love in return. Have there ever been times in your life when you doubted God's power? Surely if this God who created heaven and earth, how could he allow my friend to die? How could he allow millions to starve every night? Isn't God supposed to be almighty? Stop blaming God and blame yourselves. He spared not even himself to bring about salvation of man. He knew that he could lose us, yet he created us anyway. The most beautiful of all is that he gave the choice to love him because he first loved us. Now, that's Max Lucado. And I just love that story because it just lays it out there that God He created all of this. He put the tree of knowledge of good and evil in the garden. He's omnipotent, omnipresent. He knew what was coming. He knew man would fall. You see, but we can't choose if we don't know what the choice is. The choice. You see, the angels, they don't know what the alternative really is. All of creation, they don't know what the alternative. We know what the alternative is. We experience it daily. The anger, the fear, the lust, the hatred, the sin, the darkness of man. And God's saying, choose life, choose him, choose my son. That's all it is. I hope you enjoyed that story because I enjoyed the story. So I am going to go ahead and jump off here. You guys have a great day. Sorry the train interrupted my thought. Please share this video because Facebook ain't going to do it. You guys have a great day, great weekend, and I'll probably see you Monday.